Thanks for joining us. We are live in Las Vegas here at Adobe Summit 2017. I'm Wendy Steinley, Director of Marketing Strategy and Operations for Adobe's Digital Marketing Business Unit, and I'm joined today by Ashley Still, Vice President for Creative Cloud for Enterprise at Adobe, and we are live in the Summit tank having conversations about the experience business. And you'll see people walking around and maybe a lot of noise going on, and we're just going to have a good conversation with all that awesome background going on. So Ashley, let's just start. Tell us a little bit, what is Creative Cloud for Enterprise?
Absolutely, so wonderful to be with you today, Wendy. So Creative Cloud for Enterprise is the version of Creative Cloud that we sell and support with all of our global brands, many of whom actually spoke on Summit stage today, so people like National Geographic and T-Mobile. As well as agencies, whether it's WPP or Publicis or many Adobe, both customers and partners, as well as schools that are using either our applications or increasingly our cloud-based creative services to either design products or design their brand identity, or design and create all the amazing content that they need as part of becoming an experience business.
Right, and that's so interesting because I think a lot of times when people think of Creative Cloud, they're thinking about designed content, and you mentioned products, and that's really interesting. What products play a role in.
Absolutely. So Creative Cloud is used in fashion. A lot of patterns that are generated are actually generated in our creative applications. Or shoes are designed. Even the probably car manufacturers are designing right now their 2030 models in our creative applications, and they would draw the inspiration and kind of concepts in Creative Cloud, and then obviously as you get closer to manufacturing, you're more likely in a CAD program.
Right, okay. Yeah. So you've been with Adobe for 12 plus years, and I'm wondering, tell us a little bit about what drives your passion today. What is your team focused on, and what's keeping things fresh?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that has kept me as an employee at Adobe, and I think one of the things that's made Adobe successful, and Shantanu talked about it today, is we don't like the status quo. We're not about the status quo. And I think that there is so much opportunity for brands to reinvent their relationship with their customers and even how they conceive of their products. And the ability to be connected to the internet, to use design and data to create these great experiences creates a huge opportunity for our customers, and also enables us at Adobe to innovate in ways that I think we're even just beginning to understand the magnitude of the amount of innovation that we can bring. And of course, that is always exciting to a product team, is being able to drive innovation and be able to drive impact within our customers, and then also with all of our experiences. We're all consumers, and I would much rather have a great experience than a poor experience as I go about my life.
Right, and in fact, I'm super excited about what Brad Rencher was talking about from the stage today, and being part of the company and in the middle of these transformations that we're making with our clouds, it still is kind of dawning on me what a tremendous opportunity we have to help our customers succeed. Because when you think about what does it mean to be an experience business, it's so far beyond maybe traditional concepts of design or marketing. It's really all of those touch points. And I want to read to you, Brad talked about 4 key tenets of experience business, and I'd like to know where you see Creative Cloud really plugging into that and helping to drive it. So he talked about 4 key things. 1, context is the starting line. 2, you've got to design for speed and scale. 3, milliseconds make the journey. And 4, you've got to integrate to innovate. So those are 4 key criteria in order to help to deliver on that experience business. So where does Creative Cloud for Enterprise play a role?
Yeah, well, I think Creative Cloud plays a role across all of them, but really strongly with the first 2. So if you're talking about context, the actual design and the content that you're providing needs to speak to that context and be relevant in that context, right? So take someone like T-Mobile or someone like National Geographic. The types of content, the images that they're showing or the video that they're showing, the experience that they create, the context of whether you're in New York or San Francisco, whether they know that you love travel in mountains or whether you really love surfing, right? Those types of things are not just important on the data side, delivering the experience, but clearly very important on the design and the content side, right? So if you're really going to provide true context, you need the content and the design to represent that context. And then of course, designing at scale, there's more content and more things being designed than ever before,
right.
Certainly on the marketing side, but also product design is also really being transformed by digital transformation, and everyone needs to get to market faster,
right.
Whether
so
you're manufacturing a product or whether you are driving marketing campaigns. And the design of your products and the content in your marketing campaigns has to respond as quickly, and you just need vastly more of it, right? There used to be a couple seasons in terms of fashion design, now it's every 6 weeks. On the marketing side, it's always on marketing, right? You're always engaging, and with personalization and context, you need more and more content. So we hear about the need for content velocity every single day from our Creative Cloud customers, and really being thoughtful about how we build into the software and into the cloud services that Creative Cloud now provides, more automation so that designers can focus on the high value design content and not be making tweaks to colors or taking hours to update logos or create renditions of something that needs to go to Facebook and Instagram. So it's how do we use Sensei, how do we use AI and machine learning and other just, the power of software and the internet to make designers' lives easier, which to a brand means better content, faster content, and enough content to feed the context that you're trying to give your customers.
And that what you're talking about also touches on that aspect of the millisecond makes the journey, meaning that the response has to be immediate, right?
Yep.
Consumer comes within a context, we have to be able to respond to that context, and the design has to be completely plugged in with whatever the delivery is, which previously we've really kind of thought of as marketing, but now we're coming to all understand it's much more than marketing, it's the full experience.
Yep.
And so can you talk a little bit about maybe what the role of marrying design and marketing will play in competitive advantage for companies moving forward?
Absolutely. So I really think the line of what is marketing is completely blurring, right? If not going away, and particularly as products and become inherently more digital, right? I mean, it's hard to imagine that 5-10 years from now, sneakers won't all have sensors in them. And how do you...
I hate to see what it would see about me not doing my runs, right?
Exactly. Well, maybe you'll be able to turn that part off. But and so if you're having a experience for a potential customer, and then they purchase that sneaker, they're then immediately a customer. You don't want to change the experience on them, right? You want a mobile app or a web experience, or maybe now Alexa or Google Home, that actually gently reminds you that you haven't put your sneakers
Get
on.
off the couch.
Right, exactly. So that's not marketing, is it? I mean, that's product use. And so the richness of data and the richness of content, you want to keep that context across your relationship with your customers, which of course is not always a marketing relationship. And so I think it to me, it further increases the importance of marrying design and design-led thinking and making sure design is a really strategic part of becoming an experience business, with, of course, all the data and technology and execution of those experiences across all these touch points.
So that's all pretty exciting stuff. Some of it's here today, some of it's to come. Is there anything else you would see as future of what will digital experiences look like, or how will they change in the future?
Well, similar to what I was referring to, I think they'll be even more pervasive, right? I mean, digital
Yeah.
experiences are already pretty pervasive. They will only get more so. I do think they'll become more and more useful. That will be the kind of survival of the fittest, so to speak, of digital experiences. It's going to have to be useful and delightful. And I think a lot of that will be driven by context. And you and I were chatting before this, and when Google sends me a notification when I'm walking out the door from work and tells me which way to drive home
Yeah.
because of traffic, like that is inherently useful because of the context. It doesn't matter if they know my name.
Right.
That's the information that I need at that moment, and I didn't have to go get it. It came to me.
Right.
And I think those I hope those delightful experiences are part of all of our days going forward.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that there's one thing that always bugs me when I get a happy birthday email from my bank. It just shows me
Right.
they know my name and they know my birthday, and both of those bug me. And so
Right.
where's the context of thinking through, how's that going to enhance my experience with that brand? I mean, I'm sure they can do much more interesting things. So
Yeah, but if they know that you tend to get cash every couple weeks, and they send you a notification that it's been 10 days since you went to the ATM, and you're 20 feet away from an ATM. Something
Yeah,
like that might
remind me.
be useful and
my
delightful.
kids would love that. I never have cash to pay
Yeah,
their
exactly. I
allowance.
know, and then of course we may not need to carry cash,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but those types of things I think brands will really think about, and a lot of that is again design. Like how do you present that communication
Right.
in a way that is perceived to be useful and delightful, and
Right.
of course the data and the execution is critical as well.
So one of the roadblocks today, if we get back to sort of the role of creatives and marketers and coming together to help drive experience, how do we get creatives and marketers to work better together?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's changing. I was talking to a customer yesterday, and we were laughing about how perhaps at some point in time in the Mad Men era, all creatives, everyone that was a designer only worked for an agency, and everyone that was a marketer only worked for a brand, right? And so you literally had the two kind of camps represented by entirely different entities. And of course that's not true today at all. There are creatives and marketers working hand in hand inside brands. There are lots more in-house agencies that are help powering all of these marketing campaigns and product designs. And of course agencies are becoming thought leaders around marketing, right? And how to use data as well as creativity to really be a strategic advisor to their clients.
Right.
So I think creatives and marketers want to work together. They're working together every day. And how do you make it easier, right? Like how do you make it not something that I have to stop what I'm doing to go collaborate or work with someone?
We operate at such a fast pace. Sometimes
Exactly.
it's like you have to forego, getting more opinions or approvals or.
And then how do you give each constituent the data that they need in the way that is useful for them, right? So I sometimes hear people say that they don't think creatives want data, and I don't think that's true. I think creatives thirst for data. They want to understand how their designs perform, and they want to be able to have meaningful conversations about experiences that involve both their visual opinions, right, and experience design opinions, as well as data. So I think that's a great role Adobe can play, is making it easier for creatives and marketers to collaborate and empower both with the right level of data.
Yeah. Well, what advice do you have for marketers and advertisers as they attempt to put design at the center of their experience-led business?
Design has to be strategic inside your company. So if your executive team is never talking about the design of your experiences, I think that's something that companies should change. At Adobe, our executive team is very involved in the actual design of different experiences, whether it's a marketing experience or a product experience. And certainly if you're outsourcing everything to an agency, having a strategic relationship with that agency again, so that there's, that it's really part of the strategic business conversation is this a good enough design?
Right.
Is this the right experience design, not just visual design,
Right.
for a product or a marketing campaign? I think that's critical. And then how do you make sure that as content is created and executed, that it is delightful and useful? And that of course the customer is at the center. The only thing that matters is what is going to keep the customer engaged with your brand long term.
Right.
And so of course marketing and design needs to be laser focused on customer delight.
Well, it's really exciting that we're at this point where we're having this conversation and bringing it all together. So Ashley, I want to just thank you for your time today. It's been delightful talking with you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.